Welcome to Ultimate Orlando Clicks. I'm your host Kevin, and this week we are getting started over in Universal Studios. We are at the Simpsons food court, where this is an entrance hallway, and this sign looks new to me. I think it's been added since they first opened this eatery. Now, as you can tell, it's a whole lot of Simpsons characters, and if you feel overwhelmed and lost, not to worry. Right next to it is a little bit of a legend or a key. So if you were to look closely at these figures here, you would see numbers on all of them. And just below that, let's zoom in there briefly, you can see, just below that, you'll see the numbers are given in a legend down below. So you can identify who all of the characters are. Hours of fun, I guess. A couple other pictures seem to have been added on the walls here in the area. This is above the condiment cart on the two sides of the food court, like the Krusty Land one in particular. In Moe's Tavern, I don't remember that there were always pictures on the walls. Could be mistaken about that this has possibly always been there. I'm not in there in that particular building all that often. We're here, of course, to take in the newest look at the Harry Potter expansion. We are here looking at the London side from the Men in Black side of things. I want to call your attention particularly to this building, where one section is in gray. It's darker than the other sections. If we were to look closer at it from right here, you can just see it in the corner. There, you'll see a little bit of a wrinkle in the skyline there. And what's going on is that this gray section is meant to be part of the wall that collapses, as one of the Harry Potter movies. From here, let's take a look behind that last building. You'll see they're building a little bit more of the Diagon Alley designed rooftops toward the show building in the back. Now, obviously, this stuff is all behind of the facade. I don't know if they're going to cover it up with trees or something, but at the moment it's quite visible from the Fear Factor area. There's a sign up saying that you can use this new app called Screenplay to play a game along with these posters. And they have a new poster peek up right next to these red phone booths. And the red phone booth, of course, is actually a peek into the construction area. So here you can see what it looks like. It happened to be rainy on the day we're looking, so you get some distortion on the lens there, I guess. Obviously coming pretty far, and it's going to be a big walkway once all this is done. Going over to the other side here, you can see another glimpse at that little feature right here where they show the collapsing wall. Obviously, the building doesn't actually collapse and expand, but they've got a neat little detail there to imply that it does. Another peek on this side over by King's Cross Station shows you this level of detail at the ground level. A couple shots from inside there. And then over to the King's Cross Station itself, and of course the train station, the functional train station in the background. Beetlejuice had recently closed and has reopened now with basically an all-new show. I didn't spend a lot of time in there, but it's a little bit less heavy on plot now. Freestyle machines are increasingly visible around the Universal parks. These are great places to also pick up free ice and water if you have your own cup. It's Mardi Gras time, so here's one of the Mardi Gras alleys near the Mummy, as well as some of the booths set up nearby selling both tattoos and little snacks from that sort of food booth. You can see it's called the French Quarter Courtyard. I saw this at the exit to the Minion ride. This is a cast member, a team member, holding a remote control, and this is a little bit of a robot, a Minion robot that was zooming around on wheels. It was neat. So, it being Mardi Gras time, they do have the Mardi Gras parade. I won't show you all of them, but I do have photos of several of the floats. Some of them were new to me. I don't remember having seen this parade last year. So there were, I think, 3 parade floats that were new this year and 3 that were new last year. So if you haven't been in a year, then there's up to 6 floats that are new for you. Over to Walt Disney World. This is at the ticket booths for Animal Kingdom. You can see that they've got some Disney side posters up now, and so they are trying to use this new promotional language. That one doesn't have Disney side, but the last one does. This one's your Fearless side. So this is the way they're trying to fold it into everything that they do. The information board in Animal Kingdom no longer has Camp Mini Mickey, so they've obviously got new artwork here, and they make Rafiki's Planet Watch look to be a counterbalance to show an extra land over on the side. FastPass Plus kiosk just around the corner from there. Some minor lines, nothing too dramatic. We're mostly here to go to this spot. Now this is Doug and Russell's Wilderness Explorer Clubhouse. And this little device is new. There's another one in the back right here. We'll take a closer look at what it is. It's the dog collar from the movie Up. and so it's the barcolator. As you can see here, you push the button to bark, and then Russell talks back to you in real language. So I'll have a look at that button in a moment. This is what the collar looks like behind it, and you've got a little bit of themed blueprint behind that as well. Here's that button that you push. You're supposed to bark into it as a human, and then and then Doug will speak back to you. And there's Russell and Doug meeting people in the back of the clubhouse itself. The former Camp Mini Mickey walkway now dead ends into this somewhat barren wall. The future of Avatar lies behind this wall here. Glancing over the top here, you'll see that the sign for Camp Mini Mickey is itself been removed. Don't know if that pole is going to stay there, however. The Dawa Bar has moved, and the walls have come up even further for the construction of Lion King's theater. So here's the new Dawa Bar. It's kind of an open zone here that used to be used for performances, and the Dawa Bar itself used to be off to the left there. In fact, over on this side, here's where the Dawa Bar is. Now this is the check-in seating for Tusker House, and if we were to go stand over in this area here, we'll be able to see just a little bit over the top of the construction walls. You'll be able to catch the construction for the Lion King Theater in the back. And the wall otherwise stretches around. It's become stroller parking, of course. Another angle of the Dawa Bar, and a little bit backwards from there you can see they have some steps in the area. I don't remember the steps being there before. Switching over to the Magic Kingdom area, this Transportation and Ticket Center, we've got a telephoto lens of the area once was called Sunset Point. This is the Polynesian expansion. You can see some buildings going up there, and you can especially see some pylons in place for the overwater bungalows. So this is the Polynesian DVC, going to be very expensive rooms in these overwater bungalows, stretching kind of all around this lagoon area here. So they haven't started the physical construction yet. We are now obviously at the Seven Dwarfs Mine Coaster, where this up-ramp here has been joined by some stairs. I don't know if those are temporary stairs. And there is this thematic feature on one side. I'm looking at it now, it doesn't look like this is part of the track, because I don't see any track there. I just see something that makes it look like there could be track, but it's made out of stone. We'll have another look at that from another angle in a minute. That's one of the queue buildings, and a view through some of the portholes. Now this is a view from a side angle, so to speak. You can see they still haven't done the grasses on the top. They have, however, added a bunch of theming to these boxes down below the animatronics. And there's another view of those animatronics, again from the side. And there's that other view you can see of the supposed minecart vehicle. I think it's a prop, actually, just meant to always be sticking out of the side of the mountain. Couple of close-up shots, and you can see that they've turned on the waterfall. This is on the Be Our Guest side, so the castle's behind me as I take this picture. And some additional steps have made their way over to this drop area here, so no idea whether those are permanent. I'll look inside that first drop area, and some of the devices still going into place. There's that double catch there, so this is, I've read, something more of a pre-drop than a double drop, because the idea is that the car stays on the chain until some more of it gets over the hill, not to put unusual stresses on the car. And then this is where the grasses are going. You can see that there's all these little poles basically sticking up to hold the grasses in place. Over to Liberty Square, this is that widened walkway, finally a daytime picture for you. It is cheerleader and Brazilian tour group season. The Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom were both packed on the days that I visited. Jungle Cruise is losing its Fast Pass, so there are walls up there. You can see a little bit of theming on the outside of that wall. And then we found this construction spot next to Cinderella Castle. This has always been a little bit of an inset here, I think maybe for strollers, but that's a bigger construction zone. No word on what exactly is going in there, but it would be a prime spot for, I don't know, something like weddings, let's say. Another Fast Pass return line, this one at Space Mountain. Sometimes this line stretches pretty far out. And then over on Main Street, a couple of Glow with the Show displays that have been added to one particular building on the side of Main Street. Okay, over to our game. Where in Walt Disney World was this? This was the question last time. And I got a couple of correct responses. Here's a wider view. This is, of course, from Cranium Command. And will lead to our next question. Where in Walt Disney World was this? And so leave your answers in the comments below. We'll see you next week if you are correct. That does it for this time around, guys. Thanks as always for your attention, and we hope to see you next week.